18 of the fantasy baseball season, and it's crunch time now for most fantasy owners as the season's winding down and playoff time's coming around. The first guy I look to add as a hitter this week, Joey Meses of the Washington Nationals. So that's obviously one of the worst teams in the league this season, and they're just looking for players now at this point of the year to come up and maybe they make the team next year or have a future with the Nationals. So Meneses, what a start it's been for him so far to start the year for the rookie. 5 home runs, 7 RBIs, 8 runs scored, 387 average, and a 441 on base in the first 34 at-bats of the season here for him. So right now he's getting the everyday opportunity, batting either anywhere from second to fifth in this national lineup here. And hey, why not? It's time to play the young guys. They traded Juan Soto for the farm system over there in San Diego. And now it's time to rebuild over there in Washington. So right now he's been on some tear, is Meneses, since he came up with the 5 home runs in a week here. August 8th at the Cubs, 1 for 1, a homer, 2 RBIs. August 9th at the Cubs, 2 for 4, a homer, 2 RBIs, 2 runs scored. August 10th at the Cubs, 2 for 3, a homer in that one. August 12th versus the Padres, 2 for 4, a run. And August 13th versus the Padres, 2 for 4, a homer in that one. And August 14th versus San Diego, 2 for 4. So what a first week in the league here for Meneses. And right now available in 88% of fantasy leagues. And if you need some power, you ride it out with him. Obviously, it's not going to stay at this pace here where he's going to come up and hit 20, 25 home runs in 3 weeks here as Meneses. But he can help you with some power. He's going to help with some average, it looks like, even though he's not going to hit 400 as well. But he's one of the hottest pickups this week. And you ride it out till the wheels fall off and he struggles. But right now, he's a big pickup this week. The next guy, Vaughn Grisham of the Atlanta Braves. So Grissom, their top infield prospect early in the season. Michael Harris, they called up top outfield prospect. And now Vaughn Grissom, the top infield prospect, available in 54% of fantasy leagues. So far to start his career, a great start here for him and this Brave team. 7 for 18, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, 6 runs scored, a stolen base, 333 average for him, and a 342 on base percentage. So Vaughn Grisham, he plays second base right now for this Brave team. Obviously, Avi's still out of the lineup, and also RC are banged up as well. So they said, hey, we'll call up our top infield prospect, and he hasn't disappointed so far in the first 4 games of his career. August 10th at Boston, 2 for 4, a homer, 2 RBIs, a stolen base, 2 runs scored. August 12th at the Marlins, 1 for 3 with a run. August 13th in a doubleheader at Miami, 2 for 8, a homer, 2 RBIs, 2 runs scored. And August 14th at Miami, 2 for 3 with a run. So right now, he's playing good so far. And he was great in the minor leagues as well, was Grisham. 14 home runs, 27 stolen bases for the 21-year-old in high AA this year with a 324 average and a 405 on base. So right here, great numbers in minor leagues. I think he's going to be a good base stealer, and he's going to be playing every day until obviously Albies comes up. So right now, Vaughn Grisham, if you need second base or shortstop help, he's definitely going to help fantasy owners. And that's obviously a weak position. So he's a great add this week. And people have gone out there quickly and add him in fantasy leagues. The next guy is Emmanuel Rivera of the Arizona Diamondbacks. So another team here like the Washington Nationals where the season's over and now they're playing young guys or up-and-coming guys or even veterans who never got an opportunity here, and they want to see what they could get with them. So on the season here for Rivera, 10 home runs, 28 RBIs, 33 runs scored, a 253 average, and a 304 on base. But over the last couple weeks here, he's red hot, 4 home runs, 6 RBIs, 9 runs scored, a 391 average, and a 462 on base, available widely in 97% of fantasy leagues here, showing some power, which obviously I don't think it's going to hold up. But he's a guy playing pretty much every day over the last couple weeks here is Rivera for this Diamondback team. And like I mentioned, this Diamondback team's going nowhere, and they got to find some players for this roster over the next couple years. August 9th versus Pittsburgh, 1 for 2. August 10th versus Pittsburgh, 1 for 4. August 11th versus the Pirates, 3 for 5, a homer, 3 RBIs, 2 runs scored. August 13th at the Rockies, 2 for 4, 2 home runs in that one. And August 14th at the Rockies, 1 for 5 with a run. So right now, Rivera, he's getting the job done, showing some power this year. Last year, only 90 at-bats with Kansas City with a homer and 5 RBIs. But he's getting an opportunity here with this Diamondback team, and he's making the most of it over the last few weeks. The next guy is William Contreras of the Atlanta Braves. So Travis d'Arnaud's been banged up and out, and Contreras, he's taking an opportunity each and every day here, and he's making the most of it. He made the All-Star team for a reason, and Contreras is a great talent, and this Brave team, after a bad hiccup versus the Mets last week, losing 4 out of 5, now they've won, is this Brave team 6 games in a row, and Contreras has been in the middle of it on the season. 15 home runs, 30 RBIs, 31 runs scored, 2 stolen bases, 259 average, and a 338 on base. But over the last couple weeks, yeah, numbers not all that great with the batting average for Contreras, only hitting 244, but this catching position's very weak in fantasy baseball, and Contreras, surprising to me, still out there in 49% of leagues. The last few games here for him: August 7th at the Mets 0 for 3, August 9th at Boston 1 for 5 with an RBI, August 10th at Boston 2 for 4 with a run, August 12th at the Marlins 1 for 4, August 13th at the Marlins 2 for 8 with a run, and August 14th at the Marlins 1 for 5 with an RBI. So right here with the DH, and Contreras even playing some outfield a little bit this season, even though he didn't look good fielding the ball. This guy's playing every day to play a doubleheader August 13th, both games, and then come back the 14th and play. That's great for catches, and he should be owned in way more fantasy leagues. I know the batting average isn't up to par of late here, but the 15 home runs and him playing every day, you definitely should have Contreras on your roster in more than 51% of fantasy leagues. And he's a great add this week, and definitely a player that can help fantasy owners in the playoffs and for the remainder of the regular season. Next guy is Vinnie Quinto of the Kansas City Royals. So one of their top hitting prospects coming up this season. He got off to a slow start, but now he's starting to show the power like he did in the minor leagues here this year's Quinto. So on the season, 7 home runs, 12 RBIs, 16 runs scored, at 247 average, and a 331 on base. But over the last few weeks here for Quinto, 4 home runs for him, 7 RBIs, 7 runs scored, 295 average, and a 360 on base. So right now available widely in 79% of fantasy leagues. And he's finding the power stroke. August 9th versus the White Sox, 3 for 7 in that doubleheader, 2 home runs, 3 RBIs. August 10th versus the White Sox, 2 for 5. August 11th versus the White Sox, 1 for 2, a home run in that one. August 12th versus the Dodgers, 1 for 4 with a run. And August 14th versus the Dodgers, a home run, 3 for 4, 2 RBIs, 2 runs scored. So Quinto, like I mentioned, he hit 20-plus home runs this season in the minors, and now the power is starting to translate in the major leagues here for him. And like I said, he's out there in tons of leagues at 79%, and this will be the time to go out there and get him. The next guy's Paul Jong of the St. Louis Cardinals. So Jong, he spent a lot of time in the minor leagues this season after struggling, but now he's back, and he's been playing pretty good baseball, even though I know the batting average this season's poor with 198, but he's turned it around over the last couple weeks. On the season, 5 homers, 20 RBIs, 3 stolen bases, 14 runs scored, 198 average, and a 283 on base. But over the last month of the season, since he's been back, is Jong, 4 home runs, 13 RBIs, 8 runs scored, a 318 average, and a 404 on base. So maybe Jong's changing his approach at the plate, and it's definitely been working for him over the last couple weeks since he's returned in the major leagues. And right now he's available in tons of leagues as well at 84%. August 9th at the Rockies, 1 for 3, a homer, 2 RBIs. August 10th at the Rockies, 4 for 5, 2 runs and a rib. August 11th at the Rockies, 0 for 4. August 12th versus Milwaukee, 1 for 3. August 13th versus Milwaukee, 2 for 4. And August 14th versus Milwaukee, 0 for 4. So right here, he's playing good baseball. This Cardinal team's playing very good baseball as well. And Jong, we know what he's capable of. Last season, he hit 19 home runs and played good defense. And right now, he's available in tons of leagues at 84%. Cardinals obviously like him to give him another opportunity here. And he's batting 6th in a pretty potent offense. So right now, I would go out there and give Jong an ad. And obviously, he qualifies at a very weak shortstop position. The next guy is Christian Walker of the Arizona Diamondbacks. So Walker, he's that pure power hitter this season who's not going to hit for average, but it's all right. 27 home runs, 67 RBIs, 53 runs scored, a 215 batting average, and a 315 on base. So right now, Christian Walker, he's starting to get things going, and even his batting average has been serviceable over the last couple weeks here. The last few weeks here for him, 4 home runs, 15 RBIs, 8 runs scored, a 292 average, and a 340 on base. So Walker available in tons of fantasy leagues as well right now in 47% of leagues. So the last few games here for Walker, he's starting to hit the ball more than just showing power. August 8th versus Pittsburgh, 1 for 3. August 9th versus Pittsburgh, 3 for 3, 2 runs in a rib. August 10th versus Pittsburgh, 1 for 3 with a rib. August 11th versus Pittsburgh, 1 for 3 with a run. August 12th at the Rockies, 1 for 3 with a run. August 13th at the Rockies, 0 for 4. And then August 14th had a monster game at Coors Field, 4 for 5, a homer and 4 RBI. So Walker, he showed the power all season, but now he's starting to get that average up a little bit here. And if you're looking for just power, though, and RBIs for the most part, Walker's a decent ad, and I would give him a shot this week. The next guy's Luis Ranginfo of the Los Angeles Angels. Ever since playing every day here and getting an opportunity, he's been playing good in fantasy. Second, third, and short, and outfield he qualifies. On the season, 7 home runs, 27 RBIs, 27 runs scored, 5 stolen bases, a 271 average, and a 308 on base. And over the last month of the season, 2 home runs, 12 RBIs, 2 stolen bases, 9 runs scored. So right now, he's a versatile player, no doubt about it. Qualifying at 4 out of the 7 positions that you could qualify in fantasy baseball, he is Ranginfo, and he's getting the everyday opportunity now. Obviously, he's not a power hitter, but he's a guy's going to score runs. He's going to help with batting average, and he's going to help with versatility. August 8th at Oakland, 2 for 4 with a homer. August 9th at Oakland, 0 for 5 with a run. August 10th at Oakland, 1 for 5, a homer, 3 RBIs. August 12th versus the Twins, 2 for 4. August 13th versus the Twins, 1 for 5 with a run. And August 14th versus the Twins, 1 for 4 with 2 RBI. So right now, batting third in the lineup over there in Los Angeles. And we know it's been a train wreck a year. Mike Trout's out. His career possibly could be in jeopardy as well here. And Ranginfo, he's at least putting in some numbers, and he can help fantasy owners with his versatility and what he brings to the table. And right now, he's available in 78% of fantasy leagues. The next guy, C.J. Abrams of the Washington Nationals. So Abrams, he's getting the call when he's coming up Monday for this national team. One of the key pieces in the Juan Soto blockbuster deal a few weeks ago. So on the season with his cup of coffee in his rookie year with the Padres, 2 home runs, 11 RBIs, a stolen base, 16 runs scored, a 232 average, and a 285 on base. But one of the top prospects in all the major leagues here is Abrams, and we've heard a lot of good things about him. Obviously, in a small sample size, with over 100 at-bats, we didn't see much from him over there in San Diego, but now he goes to a team in Washington that's rebuilding, and he could get the growing pains out of the way with Washington. It's not like a situation in San Diego where they were trying to compete for a championship and he was one of the pieces, but now he'll have the proper time in Washington to prepare and get ready now as a major leaguer and get better. And I think he could be decent here for fantasy owner. He qualifies at second and short, 2 weak positions in fantasy, available in 90% of leagues. He was a top prospect for a reason, and he was one of the main pieces for one of the best players in the league for Juan Soto for a reason. I think Abrams could help fantasy owners in stolen bases, runs scored, and I think he could get that batting average up. It was just a small sample size, like I mentioned, and he didn't play every day for this Padre team, but right now with no pressure, and he could have a learning curve over there in Washington and time to develop, I think he could get things going and help fantasy owners over the last few weeks of the season. And the final here, I looked at this week's Nico of the Chicago Cubs. So Horner, he's been a good player this season for the Cubs and solid for fantasy owners. And he qualifies at second and short, and he's available in 52% of leagues. So on the season, 7 home runs, 38 RBIs, 12 stolen bases, 36 runs scored, a 297 average, and a 344 on base. So the Cubs, I know they haven't had a lot of bright spots this season on their roster, but Horner, I believe, is one of them, in my opinion, here. And over the last few weeks, 1 home run, 5 RBIs, 2 stolen bases, 2 runs scored, 300 average, and a 364 on base. If you need batting average, you need some stolen bases, and a guy who's going to help you on base as well. I think Horner's a solid ad, and he's not going to hurt you in many categories. He's going to help you more than anything. August 7th versus Miami, 0 for 3. August 8th versus Washington, 1 for 3 with a rib. August 9th versus Washington, 2 for 5 with a rib. August 10th versus Washington, 2 for 4 with a homer. August 11th at Cincinnati, 1 for 4 with a run and a rib. August 13th at Cincinnati, 0 for 2. And August 14th at the Reds, 3 for 5 with a run. So Horner, he's a guy that has a lot of multiple hit games this season here, and it's been continuing for him. And now, after versing a weak Cincinnati team this week, and they got a good series starting up here tonight at the Washington Nationals. Here's the Cubs. And I think Horner could get things done once again in this series. Help with the average, help with the on-base, steal some bases as well. And he's going to help you more than he's going to hurt you. So it's surprising to me he's still out there in 52% of fantasy leagues. And I would give him an ad this week. So that's a few hitters I look to add here for Week 18 of the fantasy baseball season.